Alright, let's enter this slowly. Think about how we usually speak. When we want to explain something important, we add words. We repeat. We clarify again. Because we're afraid of being misunderstood. Now imagine the opposite. A text that removes words. But somehow, meaning doesn't shrink. It expands. That's where this idea of extreme conciseness begins. Not short sentences. Not simple wording, but compression, like a file that gets smaller, yet when you open it, it unfolds into something much larger. Let's make it tangible. If I say, be patient during difficult times. Clear, direct. But the Qur'an might express something like this in a structure closer to, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Shorter. But notice what just happened. It didn't just tell you to be patient. It changed how you see hardship itself. Now the meaning is no longer instruction. It's perspective, and that shift came with fewer words. Or take another type of moment. A single phrase can carry a moral principle an emotional tone a worldview and a subtle psychological effect all at once. Without spelling any of them out explicitly. And here's where it gets interesting. Because conciseness here isn't just about language. It's about participation. The text doesn't complete the meaning for you. It leaves space. So your mind steps in. One person reads a short verse and sees a rule. Another sees a metaphor. Another feels something deeply personal. Same words, different expansions. So the brevity is doing something unusual. It's not limiting interpretation, it's activating it. And maybe that's the strange part. We usually think, more words right pointing arrow more clarity. But here it almost flips, fewer words right pointing arrow more depth. And that leads to a quiet possibility. Maybe the power of such a text is not just in what it says, but in how much it makes you do the work of meaning. Almost like it's not just speaking to you. It's thinking with you. Let's not answer this too quickly, because this is one of those questions that looks simple, but actually sits on several layers. First, what does extreme conciseness really do? At first glance, it seems like it just makes things deep, but that's only the surface effect. Think about this. When a sentence is long and fully explained, your brain relaxes. Everything is already done for you. You just receive. But when a sentence is compressed, your brain has to complete it. You start asking, what exactly does this mean? How does this apply here? Why was it said like this? So conciseness doesn't just deliver meaning. It forces engagement. It turns reading into an active process. Almost like a puzzle that keeps reassembling itself every time you return to it. Now here's another layer. Conciseness also gives something very rare. Portability of meaning. A long, detailed explanation is tied to a specific situation. But a short, dense statement can travel across time, across cultures, across completely different life situations. For example, a very specific instruction works well for one scenario. But a concise principle? It adapts. It keeps reapplying itself in new contexts without needing to be rewritten. So now we have at least three effects. It increases depth it activates the reader it makes meaning portable and reusable, but there's more. Conciseness also creates memorability. Short, rhythmical, tightly structured phrases stick in the mind. They're easier to recall, easier to repeat, easier to carry internally, and that matters especially for a text that is meant to be recited. Not just read. Now let's go to your second question. What if the Qur'an did not have this conciseness? At first, you might think it would just be more detailed. But the shift would be much deeper than that. It would become explanatory. Instead of opening space, it would start closing it. Instead of inviting multiple layers of reflection, it would guide you toward one fixed understanding. The reader's role would shrink. You would no longer discover meaning. You would mostly receive it. And something subtle would be lost: rereadability. A highly detailed text gives you most of what it has on the first pass. After that, there's less to uncover. But a concise text? It changes with you. As your experiences grow, the same words reveal different things. So without conciseness, it would be more tied to specific contexts, less adaptable across time, less memorable, less participatory, and far more finished in its meaning. And here's the twist. Conciseness doesn't just make the text deeper. It makes the text incomplete on purpose. Not incomplete in meaning, but incomplete in delivery, so that every reader, in every moment, has to meet it halfway. And maybe that's the real function. It turns a text into an ongoing experience. Alright, let's shift lenses. Instead of language, let's look at the asterisk mind interacting with it. Imagine two types of input. One is fully explained. Everything is explicit, nothing missing. The other is compressed. Gaps, density, slight ambiguity. Cognitive science tells us something interesting here. Your brain doesn't like gaps. It tries to complete patterns. This is called predictive processing. Your brain is constantly guessing. What should be here? What does this imply? So when a text is extremely concise, it creates controlled gaps. And your brain rushes in to fill them. Now something subtle happens. The meaning you arrive at doesn't feel external anymore. It feels like it came from you. That creates a stronger kind of engagement. Not passive understanding, but constructed understanding. And constructed meaning is stickier. You remember it more. You trust it more. You revisit it more. Now let's go one layer deeper. There's a concept called cognitive load. If a text is too long and detailed, your working memory gets overloaded. Too many elements. Too many connections. You lose structure. But a concise statement reduces surface load. Fewer words. Less clutter. Yet at the same time, it increases deep processing load. Because now you have to unpack it. So it's doing a trade, less effort on reading, more effort on thinking. And that trade is powerful. Because learning doesn't happen when things are easy. It happens when the brain is slightly challenged. This is very close to what psychologists call desirable difficulty, Not confusion, not overload, but just enough friction to activate deeper processing. Now consider memory. There's something called chunking. Your brain prefers small, dense units of information. A long explanation is hard to store as one unit, but a short, powerful phrase? It becomes a chunk, easy to recall, easy to reuse. And when that chunk is rich in meaning, it can be re-expanded in different situations. So a concise verse becomes like a compressed cognitive package. You carry it and unpack it differently depending on context. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Ambiguity, when controlled, can actually increase engagement. Because your brain tries multiple interpretations. Each interpretation activates different neural pathways, different memories, different emotions. So the same short text can trigger different internal experiences in different people. That's not randomness. That's the brain interacting with underspecified input. Now imagine the opposite. If everything is spelled out, there's less need to infer, less need to simulate, less need to explore. The brain becomes efficient, but also less involved. And here's the twist. From a cognitive perspective, extreme conciseness is not just about language efficiency. It's a asterisk design for interaction with the human mind. A way of asterisk triggering prediction asterisk inviting completion asterisk optimizing memory asterisk and sustaining re-engagement over time. So the text is not just delivering information. It's asterisk shaping how the brain processes it. Almost like it's calibrated, not just for what is said, but for how a mind will respond. That's a sharp observation, and it feels like attention, right? On one side, conciseness makes the message stick. It activates the mind. It deepens processing. But on the other side, it demands effort. You can't just coast through it. So the question becomes, is that a flaw? Or is that part of the design? Let's look at how the brain actually deals with effort. Not all effort is equal. There's a kind of effort that feels like friction, confusing, exhausting, overwhelming. But there's another kind that feels like pull, curiosity, tension, something incomplete that you want to resolve. Conciseness, when done right, creates the second kind. It doesn't overload you with information. It gives you just enough to trigger a question. And once a question is triggered, your brain naturally wants to resolve it. That's how attention locks in. Think of it like this. If I give you a fully detailed explanation, your role is passive. But if I give you something slightly incomplete, you lean forward. Now here's the subtle part. The Qur'an is not just a text to be asterisk processed once. It's designed for asterisk repeated interaction. So it doesn't need to give you everything at once. In fact, it avoids doing that. Because if it did, you would extract the meaning quickly and then move on. Instead, it distributes the cognitive effort over time. One reading, you catch something simple. Another reading, something deeper clicks. Another time, in a different life situation, it hits differently. So yes, at any single moment, it can feel more demanding. But across time, it actually becomes more accessible. Because the same short expressions become familiar anchors in your mind. You don't start from zero each time. You build layers. And here's the twist. What feels like demand at the beginning turns into something else later, engagement without fatigue. Because the brain is no longer struggling to decode, it's asterisk exploring variations of something it already holds. Almost like listening to a piece of music. The first time, you're trying to follow it. Later, you're inside it. So the conciseness doesn't just make reading harder. It changes the type of effort involved. From forced effort to voluntary engagement. And maybe that's the deeper point. It's not trying to make reading easy. It's trying to make it worth returning to. Alright. Let's look at a very small example. Just a few words. By the morning brightness. Qur'an 93:1. At first glance, it feels simple. Almost too simple. Just an oath by a time of day. But pause for a second. Why morning brightness? Why not just morning? Why not explain what it means? Now your mind starts moving. Morning brightness is not just a time. It's a transition. From darkness to light. From stillness to activity. From heaviness to renewal. Without saying any of that explicitly, the phrase carries all of it. And then the next line comes, and by the night when it grows still. Now something forms. A contrast. Morning brightness and night stillness. Not explained, just placed side by side. And your brain automatically builds meaning. Movement versus calm, hope versus heaviness, emergence versus quiet. Then, only after setting this scene, the message comes, your Lord has not abandoned you. Nor does he dislike you. Now look at what just happened. Instead of directly saying, don't feel abandoned, Things will get better. The text first made you feel the cycle. Darkness right pointing arrow light stillness right pointing arrow renewal. So by the time the reassurance arrives, it lands differently. And all of this started from just 2 very short phrases. No long explanation. No psychological breakdown. Yet it carries * an emotional state * a natural metaphor * a universal pattern * and a personal reassurance. That's * ijaz. Not just saying less, but arranging words so that your mind completes the meaning. And here's the quiet twist. If those same ideas were fully explained, you would understand them. But in this form, you don't just understand them, you experience them.